Merry Christmas.
Well, hey,
Happy Christmas.
look at us.
When I was younger, I genuinely thought it was Merry Christmas. I used to get very confused because I didn't know what Merry was. I never knew that was a thing. I couldn't read or write at the time or anything like that. So I always thought it was Mary because, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. So I thought it was Merry Christmas. It makes more fucking sense if, Murray. Who uses that?
Yeah. Sometimes I think there's quite a harshness to Happy Christmas,
Yeah, it's true.
It doesn't flow well. Like,
It's a happy birthday, though. You don't have a Murray birthday.
we could start that, Frank.
Confuses young lads when you're also mentioning Mary all the time. But yeah, here's our Christmas episode, which is very, very exciting time of the year. It's going to be a little roundup of everything we've done, and we're going to play lots of games. We're going to drop some hot knowledge because it's cold time of year, so you need some hot knowledge. Last week, I spoke to Jessica Harris, the music therapist, and we were talking about music and memory and people using music to cope with grief. Music and hearing in general is up there with the olfactory and smelling and stuff like that, with connecting memories, scenarios, all these things. I think more so nearly than olfactory because there's so many stimulants that come with music. I think Christmas music, it really is the nostalgia of it, because how many Christmas songs do you like that if it wasn't rotated in some way around Christmas, they're horrendous songs that you'd never ever listen to? Just the style or the recording or the era it was recorded in. If it had nothing to do with Christmas and you had no memory of happiness connected to it, you'd think it was an awful song.
It's something I was thinking about today, actually. There's no new good Christmas songs.
Well, this is the whole thing, isn't it? That's the whole nostalgia of Christmas. You're always going to love something that's 30, 40 years previous.
But I think it is nostalgia always, because you'll never hear a brand new Christmas song and go, oh, I instantly love it. Like, I remember when The Darkness brought out their song, I was like, oh, they should stop trying to do Christmas songs. This is awful. Yeah. But now, because that was like 15 years ago, I hear it and go, oh, that's a lovely Christmas song. I remember that.
Is that the formula for being a Christmas hit? Just be cheesy and corny enough at Christmas time and then wait. And it'll eventually you'll become a Christmas classic. Yeah.
It's just age. Nowadays, I don't know. I think we're getting more bitter the more music we have. We're getting harder to impress, because it didn't seem to be the case back in the 60s or anything like that. So I think it's nowadays we've a very high standard for Christmas tunes. Yeah, I have a lot of facts. The one I have the most facts about to start our quizzes. Can you guess which song it is?
Jingle Bells.
I do have facts about Jingle Bells, but no, it's White Christmas by Bing Crosby. To this date, and probably always will because we don't have the physical format anymore, it is the highest selling single of all time by a long way. It's sold over 50 million copies since its release date in 1942.
That's mental.
The second highest selling song ever was Candle in the Wind, which only sold 33 million. It's estimated that Silent Night by Bing Crosby, it's a rough estimate because he's recorded so many different versions of it that have sold differently.
Yeah.
They reckon if you added them all together, it'd be the third highest selling. They've estimated it's probably sold about 30 million copies. There's no reason to go out and buy Candle in the Wind once a year. Whereas once a year, there's a reason to go out and buy White Christmas. So that's why it continues to sell and sell and sell. And obviously it was released in 42, which is basically when people started buying records. It was written by a guy called Irving Berlin. And he originally wrote it for a Broadway musical, which ended up not being produced. And then Hollywood producers picked up on it and they wanted to use it in a 1942 movie called Holiday Inn, which starred Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire. People always presume that it's from the 1954 movie White Christmas with Bing Crosby. But that was afterwards, basically. It was such a popular thing that they were like, let's make a whole movie basically based around Bing Crosby's connection to Christmas. And obviously we'll call it after his biggest hit. So yeah, it was actually for Holiday Inn. In 1957, Elvis Presley recorded his Christmas album and his version of White Christmas. And apparently Irving Berlin hated his version of it so much that he started canvassing to radio stations to not play it because he thought he was absolutely butchering his own song. He thought he was butchering Berlin's song. It was also used in April of 1967. It was used by the US military. They played White Christmas over the armed forces radio as a covert signal instructing soldiers to to evacuate Saigon.
Oh, wow.
Mad.
That is interesting. I had no idea that one.
There's probably not many people on Earth in the Western world who don't know White Christmas.
If aliens came down, we'd be like, this is our most popular song.
Yeah. Genuinely.
They'd be like, what the fuck is... What's wrong with these people?
But yeah, I plan to just keep dropping Christmas music facts as we go on. But I am of the opinion, which is where we get into some hot water here with everyone, because
bring it on, Frank.
Everyone has their opinions. I think the Rat Pack and White Christmas, and especially the Christmas song by Nat King Cole, they are the warmest, most nostalgic Christmas songs. There's a few belters outside of them, but I still think that those big band crooner type songs are the most Christmassy.
No, I'd have to agree with you, totally.
No, fair enough, Frank. They definitely are lovely and warm and Christmassy. Personally, though, this is where it gets into the hot water now, and I think personally for me, a lot of the big hits that I think I grew up with and personally liked, and my parents liked as well, aside from the crooners, it's a lot of the kind of 70s based ones, So, you have, the big kind of party ones, like, you've Slade, you've Wizard, you've Paul McCartney, John Lennon, and then you even have the instrumental Mike Oldfield, bringing back the old medieval ones. But yeah, like a lot of the ones that I think I would instantly go on and play, and even in my Christmas playlist, and that they would kind of centre around that era, kind of late 60s as well. But but absolutely, the crooners are right up there, all right. But look, as you said, it's a very personal thing,
Academy Audiobooks, the perfect present for your family and friends this Christmas. We have bestsellers such as The Ballad of My Bilingual Pillow by Fanny McLaughlin, and I Could Pee on This, and other poems by cats by Francesco Marci. Are these for real?
Yes.
How am I supposed to be reading these with a straight face, like?
Dude, you gotta keep rolling or you're not gonna get paid here, come on.
Okay, right. We have a long list of autobiographies too, like My Emerald Isle by Ulick McGee, as well as Think Big and Kick Ass in Business and in Life by Bill Zanker and Donald
What?
These can't be real books.
They are.
No.
They're top sellers.
I can't read these for you. I'm sorry. I'm out of here. Sorry.
These books are a big deal, dude. Dude, get back here. You believe this guy just walks out? This needs to be done.
Buy audiobooks. They're real cheap. They're great. The family will love them.
There, I'll do it myself. Jeez.
All right, lads. Time for the 12 Beats of Christmas game. As the name suggests, it's the beats of very, famous Christmas songs. I think yourselves are well capable of guessing. Now, I've kind of created abridged composite versions, just to make them obvious for yourselves and for the listeners to play along. So, without any further ado, I won't drag on with this. So we have 12 beats. So, Frank, you're on odds, and Shane, you're on evens. We shall start with beat 1, Frank. And one more time. All right, Frank. So beat 1. What's your guess?
I'm thinking that was Band-Aid. Do they know it's Christmas time?
Fantastic. Well done. We're off to a winning start. So, Frank.
Pressure's on, Shane.
Feeling the pressure, yeah. It's just
All right, so next up we have Shane on evens. So, beat 2. Take it away. And one more time. All right, Shane. So, beat 2. What are you thinking?
Okay, I think that's Fairy Tale in New York.
You're unbelievable. Unbelievable, lads. Excellent.
You start on the easy ones, they're going to get harder.
Yeah. God, this is shaping up to be good now.
False sense of security here.
Yeah. Right, so back to Frank now on beat 3. And one more time. Okay, Frank. So, beat 3. What are you thinking?
I genuinely struggle with that one. I think it's All I Want for Christmas by Mariah Carey.
I thought the Jingle Bells would give it away at the start. Jingle Bell Rock.
Ah.
So,
Yeah,
sorry,
no.
Frank. Sorry,
Didn't hear
Frank.
that.
Feeling good now. I have a chance to go ahead here.
Right,
Chance to
Shane.
go ahead.
Here we go now. Beat 4. And one more time. Okay, Shane, I'll be interested to see now. Did you get this one? Because I did have to had to do my own little take on this one, and you'll know why now once I reveal what it is.
So, yeah, I think that is Last Christmas.
My God, give that man a can of Coke.
No, I'm okay with the Guinness.
For all you Drogheda listeners out there, you'll get that man a can of Coke. The old Drogheda factory. All right. Okay, Shane, you're now in the lead. This is now, Frank. You need to need to pick it up here now, right? So, beat 5. One more time. All right, Frank, what are you thinking?
That's Wizard. Has to be.
I
wish
wish
it could be Christmas every day.
I wish it could be Wizard, but it's not, Frank. It was actually your answer to the previous one. It was Mariah Carey.
Oh,
What?
Yeah, yeah,
Really?
yeah. The fill into the start.
I thought that was Wizard as soon as I heard it.
Interesting,
Fuck.
interesting, Frank. Now again, all is not lost. You know, Shane could make an absolute feck up now. You know,
oh no, I'm feeling.
His ones
confident.
are
What?
his ones are way easier.
Oh yeah, play it. He got all the easy ones.
Right, beat.
Oh, wham! Come on, that's so easy.
All right, beat 6. Here we go. And one more time. Right, Shane, what are you thinking?
Now that one's very sparse, so that's difficult. But I think it's David Bowie and Bing Crosby, "Peace on Earth, Little Drummer Boy."
You are on fire. You are absolutely on fire, Shane.
Oh shit! 3-1, 3-1.
Look, it's not over, lads. It's not over yet.
It's just a bit of fun, Frank.
Yeah. Poor Frank. I'm just looking now. Beat 7. Right. We go on to beat 7 now. One more time. Okay, I'll be genuinely interested now to see what you thought of this one, Frank.
I'm just hearing mud. Lonely this Christmas.
Yes, you're back. You're back. Back in the game.
Oh, thank fuck.
You are back in the game.
Crawling back in.
I've genuinely known all of Shane's.
Right. So, Shane, beat 8. Let's do it. One more time. All right, Shane, what do you think of beat 8?
Okay, so I feel like the fill at the start gave it away for me. It was mentioned earlier in the podcast, the darkness, Christmas time, brackets, don't let the bells end, close brackets.
Excellent, Shane. Well done.
Unreal.
Well done, Shane. Now, this might be good for Frank now, this one, I think. So, on to beat 9. And one last time. Right, Frank, what are we thinking now?
Is that it's the most wonderful time of the year?
It certainly is. Well done, Frank. Yes, yeah,
Fair play.
You know, touching on your favourites there as well. You know,
Yeah, that's big band. Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, it's a bit later. You know, definitely, but you know, it's there.
Mm.
Don't think I would have gotten that.
Not bad, Frank. Right, so now beat 10. Here we go. One last time. Right, Shane, what do you got?
So I'm going for a clean Slade here. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Well done.
Maybe I'm getting too confident, but yeah, Slade.
Yeah, well done. Well done, Shane. Very good. Okay. All right, Frank. So, beat 11. Here we go. One last time. Okay, Frankie boy, what you got?
I've already lost this, haven't I?
Like, it doesn't even matter.
This is for the listeners now. The listeners are playing along too, Frank.
That was a rock and roll song by the Stops. So the only rock and roll Christmas song that I really know, like, is the famous one. It just every song by Chuck Berry, basically. Run, Rudolph, Run, I think it is.
Well done, Frank. You see, you did come back. You did make a great comeback. But unfortunately, Shane has one at this stage. But we have one beat left for our listeners.
This is for all the beats of Christmas.
Yeah, this is it.
Here we go.
This is it.
Lock it in.
So, here we go, beat 12. And one last time for all you listeners out there. Right, Shane, give it to me.
Okay, so another kind of sparse one, but I think I know what it is. Is it Paul McCartney, Wonderful Christmas Time?
My absolute favourite, yes. Well done, Shane. Well done. We have to give it to him, Frank. Well done.
6 for 6. But there was one, in fairness now, there were ones that Frank got that I don't think I would have gotten.
Yeah.
What was number 3 again?
Jingle Bell Rock. Bobby Helm.
Yeah. That just sounds like every song.
All of these could have been any song.
Yeah.
What do I win, Ian?
What do you win? You win the spirit of Christmas.
Oh, I can feel it.
I don't care that I didn't win. I was hoping there'd be cash or something.
And that was the 12 beats of Christmas, lads. I hope you feel nice and festive after that.
Yeah, I'm definitely. Yeah, I'm stuffed full of Christmas spirit.
Frank?
I said I'm like a turkey.
Hello there. John Murphy here from Murphy's Shop, bringing you all your festive favourite treats and drinks this Christmas season. We have Mother Murphy's famous mince pie special. We have our very own home-brewed mulled wine. And we have everyone's favourite, our double duo-pack poinsettia flour and selection box special for only $12.99 per pack. But that's not all. This year, we have teamed up with Desi's Deals and Wheels to bring you all of Murphy's Shop's festive favourites, along with Desi's old favourites, coming together during this pandemic season to bring you, our customers, the best we can offer. Take it away, Desi.
Thanks, John. How are you, boys and girls? Desi here from Desi's Deals on Wheels, wishing you all a very happy Christmas now. So, as John said, we've teamed up at Murphy's shop to give you the best of all the confectionery and treats and drinks this Christmas, and we're also going to bring you some of Desi's favourites now at Christmas. The old coal for the fire. We've got the Colombian, we've got the Polish, we've got the doubles, we've got the singles, we've got some slack to build it up there now if you've a back boiler, and of course we've a great selection of the soft woods and the hard woods to get you through this cold winter now. We'll keep you warm, don't worry. And you know, if you left it late now to get the tree, that's no bother at all. We have a great selection of Douglas firs, we've the Norwegian spruces, and we even have an old juniper or two, you know, if you want to keep it native and festive there, you know, no problem. So, from me and from John, a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. God bless.
And we're back. I have 3 sets of facts in front of me. I'm going to turn this into a little multiple choice. Would you rather hear some facts about Brenda Lee, Jingle Bells, or about songwriters?
Ooh. I'm leaning towards Jingle Bells, but I'll leave it to Ian to decide.
No, well, as I said at the very start of the podcast, I'd like to hear Jingle Bells fact.
There we go.
So Jingle Bells was originally written as a Thanksgiving song. So it was originally written for Thanksgiving by James Lord Pierpont, which is a hell of a name. And eventually just ended up being played around Christmas more often than it was, because it says, like, it mentions snow and stuff like that, and in a lot of parts of America it hasn't snowed yet in Thanksgiving, so it just kind of got nudged a few months back to everyone just thought it suited Christmas more. And it was also the first song that was performed in space using instruments.
Wow.
So on the 16th of December 1965, 2 American astronauts called Wally Schirra and Thomas P. Stafford were aboard the Gemini A6, and they sent a transmission to their sister ship Gemini 7, where they played an 8-note harmonica and handbells, and they played Jingle Bells. And after they sent the broadcast playing the song, they said that they just identified a UFO in the sky that they said had reindeers and a sled. And they reported it to Mission Control and to Gemini 7 as a bit of a joke, but Ground Control and NASA weren't very happy because the instruments they were playing had been snuck on and were unauthorized.
Oh, contraband.
Fantastic.
Not allowed.
How's it going? Wolfie Quinn here, wishing you and yours a very happy Christmas. I'll be down the roundabout selling Christmas trees and decorations or whatnot you may need. I'll even put 'em up around the gaff here, do anything for a bit of bob, you know. But I'll let you know now that this Christmas is going to be a good one, and you know, if we all spread a bit of the joy. Here we go. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on a one-horse open sleigh. Are you up here with that Santa Alex? Yeah. Merry Christmas to you.
Okay, lads. So we're going to play another game, a bit of a quiz, a bit of a laugh. This game I've entitled Gimme Some Truth. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to present you with a musician, and I'm going to give you 3 facts. One of them is true. So I want you to give me some truth. Who wants to go first?
Sure. I can take the first bullet.
All right. Okay, Ian. So your first person is Mick Hucknall from Simply Red.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you some facts about him, and you tell me which one's true.
Okay.
Okay, so his first band was a punk band. Second one, he considered a career in football commentary. at one point in his life. Or fact number 3, he once beat Robbie Williams in an arm wrestling competition backstage at a gig.
Oh, God. I'm going to go with the third one, that he arm wrestled Robbie Williams. Purely because, maybe they were on tour together. One was supporting the other, and they had a bit of crack backstage.
I can tell you're wrong. The real fact is his first band was a punk band.
Oh, feck.
Frantic Elevators was Mick's first band, and they were inspired by the Sex Pistols.
Feck.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, go for it.
So there was, I think, 12 or 13 people in the crowd when the Sex Pistols played Manchester before they released Nevermind the Bollocks. A handful of them were the members of Joy Division and the Buzzcocks, and Mick Hucknall was there. And every single person who left that building that night went and started a really famous band.
I'm really glad that Frank didn't go first, because he would have gotten that right.
Yeah, it would have completely ruined it.
Your next person, Ian, is Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine. Okay. Fact number 1, he used to be a Hollywood tour guide. Fact number 2, Morello's great uncle was the first elected president of Kenya. Fact number 3, he's a Star Wars fan, and he even had a hidden cameo in the recent films.
Okay. Oh, God. I'm going to go for the Star Wars one.
Tell me your reason behind that, Ian.
Oh, no, I was literally just going to say everyone had some sort of fucking cameo in those god-awful sequels, so,
Okay. Well, the truth
It's the Kenya.
is that Tom Morello's great uncle was the first elected president of Kenya, Jomo Kenyatta. I actually wrote little things here for this. So fact 1, he used to be a Hollywood tour guide. No, but he was an exotic dancer in Hollywood when he first arrived there. Star Wars. No, he's a Star Trek fan.
Oh.
And he appeared in an episode of Star Trek Voyager, The Good Shepherd, was the name of the episode, where he played crewman Mitchell, and he's also played a terrorist in Iron Man 2.
Wow, that is cool.
Again, and now I'm really, really happy Frank didn't go first, because it feels like he would have gotten those right. So, Frank, on to yourself. And I'm going to start off with your great old pal, Eric Clapton.
Fantastic.
Now,
This stage, I probably know more about Eric Clapton at this stage than I do about anyone else. Through this fucking podcast.
I think you like this. All right. Fact 1, his dad's his brother. Fact 2, his sister's his ma. Fact 3, his ma's his sister. So his dad's his sister. Brother, his ma's his sister. You're saying fact 3. I can tell you're wrong. Fact 2, his sister's his ma. When Clapton was still a boy, he assumed his parents were Rose and Jack Clapp, and that he had an older sister named Patricia. But Patricia was actually his mother. At the age of 16, she had an affair with a married man and found herself pregnant with Eric. And scared and far too young, she instead let him be raised by his grandparents and acted as his sibling. And for most of his childhood, he believed that was the truth. So the next person is Bjork. Now, Bjork is brilliant. Looking up things to research about her was the most fun I've had doing the research. So, fact 1, she's been in several punk bands. I can give you some names: Spit and Snot, Exodus, and Cork the Bitch's Arse. Fact 2, she is recorded with bats. Or fact 3, Bjork is named after a tree.
Oh, that's tough. I know she's been in a lot of punk bands. I don't remember any of those names. I've seen footage of her playing in a punk band on like the harbour in Reykjavik, and it's just a lot of really confused fishermen looking at the punk band playing. And I know the Sugar Cubes obviously were kind of a punk band, but I don't recall any of those names. I'm going to say recorded with bats, but I think that might just be an altered version of another fact that you're going to tell me, but I'll go with the bats.
You're right. Fact 2 is correct.
Yes.
But it was a curveball, because all of them are correct. All of the facts are true. So I just did that for a bit of a laugh because trying to make up a fact about Bjork is too hard because it's all so weird. She's been in several punk bands. Before joining the Sugar Cubes, she played in a number of other post-punk and punk bands, and most of them experienced some sort of success abroad, and they released records through the Crass label. But I just thought Cork the Bitch's Arse was the best name for a punk band. I had to include that. Or Tapi Tikaris is the Icelandic for it. Yes, she recorded with Bats. Bjork's vocals for Post's Cover Me were recorded in a bat-infested cave in Nassau in the Bahamas. And Bjork is named after a tree. Bjork's name means birch tree in Icelandic, which is properly pronounced Björk, but most people stick with the commonly mispronounced Bjork.
I knew that we were all saying her name wrong. I had no idea what it meant.
But yeah, so you could have had any of them and you would have been right. I feel a bit lopsided to Ian.
But I got the raw deal there.
Frank, look, you've won a prize because you got the most facts right. I feel like you would have gotten all the Ian's right as well. You win a prize of a bonus round of Fight or Pint. So, who would you rather fight or pint? David Bowie or Bing Crosby?
Nice Christmassy one.
Exactly. To link it back into Christmas, seeing as they had one of the best duets of all time.
Well, looking up my white Christmas facts, another fact I came across about him and Irving Berlin was apparently Bing Crosby had something to say or a correction to make about every single one of his songs. So apparently he was a bit of a hard to please wanker when it came to that. Like he'd show him a song and he'd always have something to say about it. And apparently White Christmas was the only song where he put his head out of the vocal booth and said, "I don't think we have to change anything with this one, Irving." Which apparently your man Irving was like, that was the only thing close to a compliment he ever paid me.
Okay.
So I think I'd have to fight Bing Crosby. Maybe punch him in the throat, bring him down a peg or two.
Yeah.
Because he had perfect pitch as well. Apparently they used to tune pianos off his voice. So I definitely have a point with David Bowie. Because it'd be wild. I hasn't gone out for a night out in Berlin with him during the 70s. Would have been insane.
I chose those two, and I actually went and got a fact for you about their song Peace on Earth. Bing Crosby's Christmas duet with David Bowie almost fell apart at the very last minute. So that was for a recorded live Christmas special that Bing Crosby was doing. David Bowie didn't want to sing the Little Drummer Boy song. He felt it wasn't really a right fit for him, and he refused to sing it. So the nervous producers of the show huddled together and decided to rewrite the song in an attempt to get something Bowie would actually perform. And so this is just hours before they were about to broadcast. And the musical team wrote an alternate version with the new melody and everything added on and the different lyrics. Bowie liked it and agreed to perform with Crosby. And they did that weird stilted sketch at the start and then did the thing. But the song had such staying power that RCA ended up releasing it and as a single in 1982, and still gets obviously resurgences every year now. Do you know that Bing Crosby died 5 weeks after that song after they did that performance?
Really?
Yeah, I actually did know that. He was very soon after.
That came up when I was looking this up. Was he died 5 weeks later?
Makes sense.
But that was the whole thing. It made it all more poignant for people when they released it and stuff, you know.
Do you want more facts?
Yeah, give us a fact, so Frank.
So Brenda Lee, who we all hear every year when Christmas rolls around, especially with that famous song "Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree," she was only 13 when she recorded that in 1957.
Jesus.
No way.
Yeah. So yeah, she was born in 1944. And she recorded that in early 1958.
Like the voice, you know, that does not sound like a 13-year-old.
No. She was kind of a pioneer of like rockabilly, rock and roll, which you can hear in that song. But because she was so synonymous with Christmas, and she kept re-recording and re-releasing Christmas albums and Christmas singles and stuff like that, that she ended up being the fourth highest selling artist of the 1960s.
Whoa.
Behind Ray Charles, the Beatles, and Elvis.
Jeez.
So it just goes to show that if you write Christmas songs, there's longevity to your work, basically. Because, even Elvis had fizzled out by the end of the 60s, whereas Brenda Lee just kept selling records every year, along with Bing Crosby, obviously, in the singles charts. But yeah, she kept re-recording, rewriting all the Christmas songs, and would always have a Christmas release. So she outsold all the other 60s bands that you can think of. Rolling Stones, The Doors. It's just crazy to think about.
She was the Michael Bublé of her time.
Basically, yeah. Basically.
So the version that we actually hear, on like greatest hits, for Christmas and all that, that's her
13.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
All the big ones. That first Christmas album is the ones that we all hear the most. And that was 1958 when she was 13.
Wow.
A lot of the re-records that she did during the 60s aren't very good. They're not really classics.
Yeah.
It's that original album that she did, which was just called Christmas with Brenda Lee, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The cover is her and a Christmas tree, isn't it?
Yeah. It's kind of green cover.
Mad.
My mind is blown.
I'll just finish off my facts here. I've only kind of one more fact anyway. So a guy called Mel Torme, he wrote the Christmas song during a summer heat wave in 1944. So chestnuts roasting on an open fire. He wrote that during a heat wave because he was told he had to write a Christmas song for upcoming Christmas. And I think he was in Chicago or somewhere, and there was a horrendously hot heat wave going on, and he had to sit inside and write a Christmas song. But this is dragging everything together. So you've got Mel Torme, you've got Irving Berlin, who wrote White Christmas. You've got Felix Bernard and Richard B. Smith, who wrote Winter Wonderland. And then you've got Johnny Marks, who wrote Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree, who we just spoke about there with Brenda Lee. All these men have something in common. And it's not just that they wrote Christmas #1 hits that have survived since they wrote them. They're all Jewish. None of these men actually celebrated Christmas.
Oh, that's brilliant.
They were just incredibly good songwriters who used to get tasked with writing a song about a lump of wood or a fucking flower, and they could just do it. So they were just tasked with write a song about Christmas, and they could just throw out these songs. So yeah, none of these men had any connection
That's
to
brilliant.
Christmas or Christianity of any sort. They just knew how to write very good songs.
That's gas.
All right, bud, what's the crack? Happy Christmas, kid.
Happy Christmas. After this year, I don't know if I'm arsed.
Not arsed. Well, come here, I have a website for you. Notarsed.ie. You go on and put your mother's name, your sister, your brother, your dad.
But you don't know your dad.
Oh, shut up, boy. Anyway, you put in all your family's name and like the gifts that they want, and they do the rest for you. Wrap them, write a little Christmas message, and they delivers it for you before Christmas. So you can just sit on your hole, drinking cans, eating like turkey with tanora, and be completely not arsed about it. Notarsed.ie. Do you know what? I'm not even arsed telling you about it. You're not my friend. You're a miserable prick. I hope you have a shit Christmas. Fucking gowl. I mean, like, who's not arsed about Christmas, for fuck's sake?
And we're back. So, Spotify aren't the only ones that can do a Wrapped. I think we should do a rap here as well. I think everyone does it. I've seen it list this year, actually. The best of the year. These are our top albums, which are always fairly redundant because they're very biased all the time. It'll always just be what band got them the most clicks throughout the year. They'll either say we're the best or the worst or something like that. Yeah, I think we should give like a genuine wrap up because we always do our recommends. So we should do a 2020 wrap. I've got a few Irish and international albums and tracks. I don't think I've actually mentioned some of these on the podcast. So, Ian, would you like to start us off?
Cool, Frank. Yeah, like yourself, I have a couple of Irish artists, and then I have my international. My international, by pure coincidence, pure fluke, they are all M bands. Yeah, so I'll start off with the Irish releases. Let's start off with Girl Band's Live at Vicar Street release. As far as I can tell, it was recorded around Christmas time, 2019. And yeah, Leon, what can I say about Girl Band? An absolute tour de force of post-punk noise rock, absolutely fantastic. Like the opener to that gig is absolutely phenomenal. Pairs for Lunch, that complete sonic opener, like that the guitar, like it's just absolutely fantastic. That delay and the loop is just unreal. And yeah, it's just fantastic. I think obviously in lockdown, listen to live albums, it's nice and nostalgic, being back at gigs. But no, that was an absolutely brilliant album. Really, really enjoyed that. And the other Irish release, going way back, decades back, and it was actually one of my top wrapped ones, Frank, from the Spotify algorithm. I know this band outside the algorithm, but Spotify clocked it as one of my most listened. It was actually Thin Lizzy's release this year, the Rock Legends Deluxe pack. Oh my God, it's absolutely phenomenal. It's basically the anthology of all anthologies if you're into Thin Lizzy. It has loads of demo takes. It has lots of radio and TV takes as well, from RTE, BBC. It's absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, I spent a lot of time listening to that. But moving on to my international acts, all my M's. So I'll start off with one that I already mentioned before in a previous podcast, Men I Trust. So we had that single, Lucky Sue, which I hope is a precursor to a new album, which would be fantastic. But they also had their live album out this year, the Forever Live Sessions. So you had a lot from the garage sessions that we were talking about just a week or two ago, Frank. That's kind of a trend I noticed actually going through my top 20. A lot of it's live albums. And I think that's just the nature of releases this year. It's people going back and their live stuff. Anyway, so that's my first M. My next, Mac DeMarco. He has obviously Moving Men single with is it Mid or Mead? Is it?
What would I call it? Mead, I suppose.
Is it Mead? Yeah.
MYD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have the two excellent demos collections that he released this year. Dare I say it? Now, I don't want to start a big debate, Frank, but are his demos getting better than the actual albums?
I thought that with just this album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was just in a kind of straightforward music mode for the album, because all the stuff that's on it is very straightforward, and then the demos they're all instrumentals and they're kind of unfinished. Yeah, just stuff that he was doing on the side, probably messing around with sounds rather than songs. Because his other demo releases after most of his other albums are usually full songs that he chose to not put on the album.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he put the weirdness aside in terms of full keyboard songs with strange synth sounds or different time signatures or anything like that he did with the demos on this one. But I think definitely, personally, I think the demos for Here Comes the Cowboy were more interesting than the album.
Yeah. My next one is Meat Puppets. So they actually had 3 releases this year. Again, the record day release. It's absolutely fantastic. They were actually brand new tracks, and they're not up on Spotify, which I love that. So it's just a record day exclusive. I love that. Includes the cover of The Big Rock Candy Mountain by Hobo McClintock. Yeah, that was brilliant. But also, they released 2 live albums. You love the radio station names, Frank. I know you can. So here's a quick test for you. KCRW.
KCRW would be East Coast or West Coast. Sorry, West.
Yeah. Santa Monica Broadcast in 1986, and the other one they released was in 1991. WXRT.
W is probably Chicago or somewhere, or Detroit, somewhere in the Midwest.
Bang on, Chicago Broadcast, yes. Excellent.
Q, if something is Q, then it's like New York or Boston, East Coast.
Cool.
There we go.
That Chicago.
You're redeeming yourself after your 12 beats of Christmas, Frank.
Yeah, I feel
yeah.
I have to do something to climb out of the hole.
That's it. That Chicago 91 one in particular is, the sound is fantastic. It's just so good. It captures them really well live. And I've one last nugget of 2020. This band has been quietly squirreling away now, right? They've been working on new material. ever so quietly, with an album release due next week, or not next week. Geez, I wish it was next week, but it won't be too long away. It'll be 2021. The band I'm on about, Melvins, they very very recently, on the 11th of December, they released their single, Brian, the Horse-Faced Goon. And it's really them returning to their absolute sludge metal grunge roots, you know. The album's actually called Working with God. So there you go.
Okay. So according to Spotify, my favorite track was Everything by J.W. Francis, who I've already had the pleasure of speaking to, so I've really peaked this year. But his album, just to give it a bit more airtime, his album We Share Similar Joy was definitely a highlight. Absolutely, it's from start to finish, it is just a phenomenally good album, and after speaking to him, he's just a phenomenally nice man. Yeah, everything about him is cool. And he has released a Christmas album, which we spoke about on the podcast, JW Christmas, where he does just 4 really good Christmas songs. One that he wrote himself, which actually, when I first heard it, I had to go make sure that he'd written it himself because it holds weight in the Christmas song genre. Yeah, Further From Home, again, in Australia, King Gizzard released a new album called KG. And what's fascinating about them right now is all their albums have had some sort of concept or genre to it. You know, they've done jazz albums, they've done metal albums, they've done acoustic 60s folk albums. They've kind of done everything, and they've done these big, like, futuristic dystopian, like, murder of the universe type concepts. And I was kind of looking for it because they did Microtonal Flying Banana, which was, they tuned all the guitars to be microtonal and made guitars that were all microtonal with different frets and different things, which they're still incorporating now onto this album. But I was kind of looking for like an overarching concept to it. I couldn't really find. But the last song just ends, just really abruptly. And then about 2 weeks later, they go and release a new song and a single, which picks up where the album stopped. And the new single that they just released like a week ago just stops as well. So obviously the next thing they're going to do is going to pick up where that stops. So it's a never-ending roller coaster with King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. So they're just fascinating. Another American is Anna Birch. If You're Dreaming was a really, really good album, which I was scheduled to go see Anna Birch on the 16th of April. And that obviously didn't happen. That tour didn't happen. Don't really hear much from her anymore on Instagram and stuff. So I hope that she's still a musician, still doing things. But I felt kind of bad for her because the album came out literally as coronavirus was like exploding across the internet. So the album got absolutely no coverage. But it's a phenomenally good album. I got it on vinyl off her Bandcamp. But yeah, If You're Dreaming by Anna Birch, and her first album as well was unbelievable. And in Ireland, I think the best album I heard was by a band called Angular Hank, and the album was called Brand New Angle. That, from start to finish, like really, if I have to criticize Irish music, it's just the songwriting isn't there with a lot of Irish bands, and it's gimmick based and scene based and stuff like that. But Angular Hank just write incredibly good songs. That's the main reason that when I listen to him, I go, are they from Ireland? Because the songwriting is just so good. And the lyrics are really, really clever. And it's not based on any paddywhackery or going on about drinking cans with the boys or any of the shite paddywhackery stuff that Ireland bands rely on to relate to the people. It's just clever lyrics which relate to humans. Clever melody writing, clever instrumentation. Really, really, really good album, start to finish. The song Laurie, which they finished the album off, it was really good. Finn Said is really good. Anna's Birthday is really good. And the last Irish one, which I've already recommended on here before, but I'd have to put into my best of for the year, would be Happiness Isn't a Fixed State by Kinsey, who next year you're going to hear a hell of a lot more about her on your algorithm. So you heard it here first. Shane, what you got for us?
Yeah, well, like between yourself and Ian now, you've covered a lot there. I suppose to finish off the podcast and finish off our Christmas party and everything, I just recommend everyone goes and has a good Christmas and has a good relax. It's been a long, tough year for a lot of people. I'm glad of the things that we've been able to achieve, the three of us, over the last few months with lockdowns and not being able to play music, and we've started this. And I'm looking forward to a new year of doing more of this. I'm looking forward to doing more of these podcasts. I'm looking forward to recording more music and getting more music out there.
It's incredibly tender, Shane.
God bless us, everyone.
The Beatles used to always do a Christmas message every year, and the White Stripes did it as well. I think it was more so a thing in the 60s, and bands like the White Stripes kind of reprised that whole tradition. But I always think they're brilliant. That's like, yeah, I suppose this is our hour and a half version of that.
Yeah.
We wish you all a happy Christmas.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us for our Christmas party. Thanks for listening, and we'll have more for you in the new year, I suppose.
Yeah, have a great Christmas, everyone, and a very happy, safe New Year.